Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is the Prince of FNAF, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing, and also be sure to hit that notification bell. That way, you'll indeed be notified for any awesome videos like this in the future. Taking a trip down memory lane, back when I was in high school being a huge artist, I still am to this day, I took every chance and every shot I could when available to get into the art class. And me being such a great artist, not to pat myself on the back, I usually finish projects early, so I had to find other things to do for fun while I waited for everybody else to finish theirs. And when the ceramics part came out, when we had to make our different sculptures and everything like that, the assigned sculptures I always finished without question, so I always had, bonus time. So I took this time to really, go with my fandom, which is Five Nights at Freddy's, and still is to this day. So I started making some Five Nights at Freddy's sculptures. And here is Golden Freddy, one of the best out of the bunch. But yeah, here is Golden Freddy. You can see the detail with the blood and the wires. I did experiment with the kind of painted on wires, but I did go with future sculptures with actual sculpted wires. But you can see that there, that looks pretty cool. You can see the blood, you can see his mouth is open. I even did some efforts at shading, and I did some light dry brushing with some light over his hat. And yeah, he looks pretty cool. You can see he's got even withering. I kind of did a little bit of faint dry brushing with some brownish red to kind of give it that weathering that Golden Freddy seems to be having, since he's kind of in a decayed state. He's kind of crouched there. You can see the detail on his microphone. You can actually see that I kind of tried to sculpt in there some details with the kind of texturing that the microphone would have in real life. You see he's got all kinds of holes on him. You can see bits of the endoskeleton in there, looking pretty cool. You can see his bow tie there again, which I tried to try my hand at some shading there. And he looks pretty cool. He's got a little bit of blood spatter on his teeth, and I gotta say that looks pretty cool. But anyway, this wasn't the only thing I made in ceramics class for free time. I also made this really awesome Foxy. Now, the one thing I noticed you're saying, well, he doesn't have those quills on his head or on his shoulders. Yeah, I forgot to do those. And the one thing I look at now is that his eye patch really should have been sculpted on. But hey. Again, it looks like his hook is melting into his like leg, but it is still pretty cool. I do like it. It's nicely painted, and it's very nostalgic to me. You can see all of the different areas on him are nicely painted with all that detail, and even you can see I posted in a little bit of a rotten kind of decaying textures, much like with the Golden Freddy, which you see over there. And it looks pretty cool. I did more of an animalistic, more organic style to the Foxy here, as you can see here. But as you can see some more details with like the wires, the cables, and all of that jazz. And it looks really nice. I really, absolutely am quite proud of it. I think these are two of the best Five Nights at Freddy's things I've made in my younger years. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, we also have Shadow Freddy, which looks pretty cool. You can see him there, and this is when I started to actually sculpt in the wire detail, which I gotta say looks a lot nicer. And obviously Shadow Freddy is kind of this purple version of Golden Freddy, but instead of him having the broken ear on the right side, it's on the left side. But yeah, you can see he also holds a microphone, and I did try this. I didn't paint the teeth for the precise reason of having them look organic with that kind of bone texture, and it definitely looks great. As you can see, I didn't try as hard on this guy because he's like one of my first attempts at a Five Nights at Freddy's figure. Originally, you can tell by his face he was supposed to be Bonnie. You can tell by how long his face is, but I wasn't confident with how Bonnie would turn out, so I just changed it to be Shadow Freddy. You can see his bow tie there. It's kind of just sloppily painted. It's actually not that great. But as you can see, he's got a face that says "Follow Me," which is a shout out to the FNAF 3 minigame. And you can see like blood spatter on his stand, which looks pretty cool. Putting them all in in frame here. The last thing we have as well is this mangle kind of head. It's made out of metal, as you can hear. So this one I made a metal work. I sculpted it and everything like that. You can see the cheeks are painted, and you can see that one of her eyes is burnt out and one of her eyes is still there, and it looks pretty cool. You can see some definitely mishaps with the sculpt or the mold, but yeah, it looks pretty nice. It's definitely supposed to be Mangle from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I gotta say I'm really proud of this. Obviously, I could have made a whole head, but I just kind of made almost like a mask of Mike the Mangle. And I still gotta say, I'm quite proud of it. It looks pretty nice. And, yeah, you can see little bits of the paint have rubbed off to reveal the actual metal that it's made of. Because, like, this is quite heavy. But yeah, although I know I could have, this is kind of very simplistic. Most of the detail comes from the kind of paint that I have applied here. I know I could have probably just sculpted in all the details with like the cheeks and like, the eyelashes and the lipstick and everything like that. I just, again, wasn't very confident using this as a medium to create something. So again, a lot of the stuff is kind of iffy when it comes to what it looks out, but I did with the best with what I did. You can see there's some more like kind of like almost like purpley paint on here, the tips of its ears, and yeah, it definitely looks like it's a lot of fun. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about these Five Nights at Freddy's sculptures that I did in high school as a kid. Let me know what you guys think about these in the comments below. And with that being said, do take care, have a great night, and I'll see you guys in the next video.